to the newest edition of TNInews with your host, JC. Hey everybody, JC here, and welcome to another live stream Monday edition. Sorry I'm running a little late today, but we got a lot of news to cover, so let's just jump into it. But before we get into the news, let's just do a quick roll call. So I see Andrew is in the house, Double D, Michael, been a little while, good to see you. Judge Dreads is in the house. What's up? Mr. Allmine is in the house. Good to see you. Laura is in the house. Nope, show's not canceled. Just was running a little late. Sorry about that. John is in the house. What is up? So, yeah, we got a pretty full house. Of course, when I'm running late, everyone comes and joins in, but that's how it goes. Definitely my bad there on losing track of time. But, yeah, let's get into the news. So, of course, today was a lot of Marvel Legend reveals with their latest fan stream, which we're going to get into here in just a few minutes. We also have some San Diego Comic-Con reveals. Actually, I think we just have one since I last talked to you guys, but Mattel has started to announce theirs with this new Hot Wheels set for Batman, which is kind of cool. $50. This is going to be offered on Mattel Creation website, so you don't actually have to go to San Diego for this one, but it is listed as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, which has kind of become a common theme ever since COVID. It's like almost all Comic-Con exclusives these days seem to be made available online. So it's kind of funny that we still call them Comic-Con exclusives, but there you go. So June 25th, $50. Basically all the various TV, movie Batmobiles. We got the original 60s Batmobile, the 89 Batmobile, the Batman animated series Batmobile. We also have from Batman Forever. Then we've got the Tumbler from the Christian Bale movies. Then we've got the most recent Batman Batmobile. And each card comes with a little die-cast figure. So, yeah, kind of cool. Again, if you're into Batman and things like Hot Wheels, that type of thing, then you're probably going to want to check that out. So let's see what else we got. We got some wrestling news. So last night was the big, or not last night, but this weekend was the big pay-per-view. I don't know if I want to call it big, but the pay-per-view in Scotland, which I got to say I was kind of disappointed with. So I recently just got back into watching wrestling, basically since WrestleMania. I used to be a huge fan back in the 80s. Then I got out of it for a while I was in college and stuff. And then I got back into it in the 2000s, early 2000s with like the Attitude Era and stuff. And then kind of fell out. But here recently I've been watching it. And I feel like with this pay-per-view, it was like most of the matches were all matches that we've already seen here recently, like Sami Zayn versus Gable. I mean, with the same outcomes. It's not even like they switched things up. Cody Rhodes, again, we already saw that match, and to me, I mean, it was an I Quit match, but if anyone thought Cody Rhodes was going to lose the championship in a match like that, I think you're crazy. So I don't know. I feel like they gotta switch things up a bit. The McIntyre match with Priest, and of course, I won't ruin it, even though I'm sure if you watch wrestling, you probably know, but somebody ran in and screwed things up. But yeah, but we got some wrestling news this weekend, new PR images. Now, we've seen these figures before. This is the second round of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover figures. So we've got Rey Mysterio there. So just to go over, the first wave is Kofi Kingston as Michelangelo, Roman Reigns as Shredder, and Xavier Woods as Donatello. So that'll be the first wave, which actually has not yet come out, but probably will be. I'm thinking these might end up going up for pre-order during the Geek Out event. So, that runs every Friday between now and July 19th. So I am thinking we might see these go up during that event. But then we've got the second wave of Rey Mysterio as Raphael, Seth Rollins as Leonardo, and Cody Rhodes as Casey Jones. But and we had seen these on display at WrestleMania. Mattel was there with figures on display, so we had seen these. Our first time seeing these was at WrestleMania, but now we just have the official images. And again, this is listed as Wave 2. And I'll be the first to say, I like Cody Rhodes. He seems like a nice guy, but I feel like he's kind of a boring champion. I don't know. I know he had his story that he needed to finish and everything, but I have not been super impressed with him as a champ. Honestly, I feel like his best match was that he did with Logan Paul. And Logan Paul I cannot stand as a human being. Crypto scammer, all the other shit things that he's done throughout his career, his YouTube career. So I don't really like him as a person, but if I'm being 100% honest, he does seem to give good matches when he actually shows up to work. I mean, he's not on that often, but so it's kind of a catch-22 with Logan Paul. But I feel like that was really the best match since Cody Rhodes has had the belt that they've put on. So, all right. So let's see what else we got to talk. We'll get to Marvel Legends last. I don't have a whole lot of other things to go over here, but let's see. Just announced here, Mezco Con is going to be starting June 24th. So right there, or no, I'm sorry, June 24th. So this month, they always do a virtual thing where they throw up these preview images, never give us any details or anything. They just throw up preview images of upcoming products. So we'll start getting those on June 26th. I don't know if Mezco will be at San Diego Comic-Con this year. I can't remember if they were there last year or not. NECA has announced these they're called Ben Cooper 6-inch closed figures, so Witch Girl costume and Dracula. So basically these are based on old I want to say 70s early 80s Halloween costumes. I'm not sure why if there's really any demand for action figures for these, but I guess NECA feels like there are. So apparently Walmart's going to get first dibs on these, so possibly just checking to make sure I don't see a date. So probably these will end up going up sometime during Walmart Collector Con, which is will start Thursday, July 25th. So that's probably when we will see these go up for pre-order. But if you missed out on last week's Batman, the animated series Batmobile reissue from McFarlane Toys, originally put out by DC Direct, and it's a great vehicle. I have the original, and I still proudly display it in my upstairs office. But these were all last week's Target Geek Out pre-orders. But the Batmobile will be made available again if you missed out on the initial pre-orders for it. So, and again, if you didn't get the original, this is something I would, and you're a fan of Batman the Animated Series, of course, this is something that I definitely recommend. For you Invincible fans, we've got bloody variants of the Invincible and his dad. These are being offered as Entertainment Earth exclusives, so you can pre-order them now for $50. So again, if you want, to kind of recreate the end of season 1, where the dad beats the shit out of Invincible, then you can recreate that now with these bloody variants. I love Invincibles. I never read the comic book, so I've seen some people say like they find the cartoon series on Amazon kind of boring because it basically tells the story of Invincible verbatim from the comics. But since I've never read the comics, it's all new to me. So that's definitely a series that I've been really enjoying. So I haven't bought any of the figures from Diamond Select, but I definitely love the series. Let me just go down, see what we got for comments. Coco, no Shuma Gora, no, not for today's live stream. Looks like everyone is talking about Marvel Legends, which I will get to here in just a minute. Judge Dredd, yes, Odin goes up for pre-order on the 27th. the the Strange Tales wave goes up this week on the 20th. All right, it seems like everyone is talking Marvel Legends, so let's just go on and jump over to that. So finally, the final 85th anniversary figure has been revealed. We knew it was coming. Amazon was the first one to leak it out when they put the initial figures up for pre-order from this 85th anniversary subline, and Odin was mentioned to be coming. So at that point, we pretty much knew he was coming. But we're getting our first look at him. So let me flip over to the screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing. So looks pretty good. Has the unhelmeted and helmeted hair. You can also have the helmet, so I guess he can kind of hold it on the side. He's got his staff. We've seen that staff before. The sword, I don't know if the sword's new or not, but probably seen that. The ravens, multiple pairs of hands. So looks pretty good. I know the big question is, of course, when are we going to see the Warrior 3? Which I have no answer to that question, but hopefully Hasbro will get around to doing those guys. I feel like they really need to now that they're giving us this new updated Odin, but we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, I'm still waiting for them to finish teams like Excalibur and X Force. So, but this is the Odin figure is the final figure in this year's 85th anniversary line. So, and yes, that's going up for pre-order next week on the or not next week. I guess maybe it is next week, but on the 27th is when that one's going to go up. So originally I thought that was going to be going up this week, but apparently it is next week. So more looks of Odin. He's about eight and a quarter inches tall, they said in the live stream. So he's got a pretty good size to him. And there he is with that recent weird Thor dude. Movie Venom, we're getting to go along with the recent movie Carnage, Let There Be Carnage. We are now getting a new updated Let There Be Carnage Venom, which is going to be offered as a Target store exclusive. So I'm guessing this will be one of the Target Geek Out offerings. So we know Hasbro will have offerings on July 5th, at least Star Wars. So it's possible we could also see Marvel go up that day. So possibly we could see this go up on July 5th. But I am definitely thinking sometime on one of the Fridays between now and July 19th, we'll see this go up for pre order. So if you want to get this new updated movie Venom, like I say, pre orders will probably happen during the Target Geek Out event. Hasbro didn't give us a date, but so I'm just speculating. And then we have Warlord Professor Xavier. So to go along with the rest of the team with the yellow and blue outfits. He also wore this outfit recently in the X-Men 97 cartoon. So I wouldn't be surprised if we end up getting a version of him in that line at some point. This is going to be a Walmart exclusive. So again, I'm thinking Walmart Collector Con. So usually we get at least 2 Marvel Legend exclusives. We know that Venom figure is a Walmart exclusive, the one on the retro card back. And so I'm thinking both that and this Warlord figure will go up during Walmart Collector Con. So again, July 25th is when that is supposed to begin. Comes on the retro card back. Get the 2 heads. And we got Rogue. So this was a rumored set, though the rumor had originally suggested it was going to come with a Mystique figure, but instead we are getting Rogue. Not sure I really like the head sculpt. I mean, I remember she had, she had that, this is kind of evil Rogue when she hung out with the Brotherhood. And you get the Destiny figure, which to me is what is worth getting in this set. This is an Amazon exclusive. We don't know when this is going to go up for pre-order, but this is going to be a 2-pack offered as an Amazon exclusive. And I don't really care about this version of Rogue. It's not my favorite version of Rogue, but I will end up getting this just to have Destiny to round out my Brotherhood of evil mutants. So it's too bad we don't get an alternate unmasked head with the Destiny, but. And then they were all excited during this panel for this new Jean Grey Phoenix figure, which, I mean, it doesn't look bad to me. It's on the same body as the Warbird, and I want to say the previous Target exclusive Black Widow, I think, uses that same mold. But they compared it to the Warbird figure, though none of us have the Warbird figure in hand. So, but basically pinless, the pinless stuff. You get 2 head sculpts, and then this big giant bird fire base, which is kind of reminiscent. Sorry, some of these images didn't upload correctly, but kind of reminiscent of I want to say the original Toy Biz Phoenix figure came with a base like this. Had the Firebird, not as elaborate as this one, not as big, but had that, you clipped it on the around the waist of the figure. I want to say that was the Toy Biz one, but looks cool. I just don't know if I want another Phoenix, but anyway, that one is coming, and they didn't say when, and I don't think they said exactly how, but I'm guessing this is going to either be a Pulse exclusive or a fan channel exclusive. And then we have the new Build-A-Figure wave that they showed off. So the Strange Tales Build-A-Figure wave with another version of Brother Voodoo, updated articulation, head sculpt, same staff that I think the last one came with, or the box set version came with, I forget. But and then the Eye of Agamotto is removable there on the cape, so you can take that off. I guess he's had 2 different looks. Dracula, so our first Dracula Marvel Legend figure from Hasbro. This is in the red armor with the cape and a sword. 2 head sculpts. There he is fighting Blade. And then this Helverine figure with the fire claws and head, kind of Ghost Rider head. So that is coming. Bloodstorm, so a vampire version of Storm. Hellstorm, so this was going to be offered at the with the HasLab, the Ghost Rider HasLab, right? But we didn't get it because we didn't get the HasLab. So we've got an updated version. See, patience, good things come to those who wait, because this now uses the pinless body and everything. So this is probably better than the one that was going to come with the HasLab. Lilith, not really that familiar with her, but I guess she's got the fishnet stockings. Moon Knight, essentially a West Coast Avenger version of Moon Knight with the gold. Few different accessories that we didn't get previously. I'll end up getting this one just to go with my West Coast Avenger team. They should have had US Agent in this picture, but oh well. And then the Build-A-Figure is Blackheart, so I have mixed feelings on Blackheart. I still have the original Toy Biz Blackheart. I should have pulled that out, but I feel like getting Blackheart before we get Mephisto kind of sucks. Though I guess we never got Mephisto, and even in the Toy Biz line, I guess it was Diamond Select Toys who gave us Mephisto originally. So I guess I can't complain too much. But I feel like I don't know if you can't. He's the son of Mephisto. So if you can give us the son of Mephisto, why can't you give us Mephisto? That's just like, I don't know, because he's black. He doesn't look quite like the devil, so it's okay. I guess that's the reasoning. But bendy wire in the tail, so he's got a good size to him. There he is with Daredevil. As they mentioned in the live stream, he first appeared in the comics in Daredevil. Of course, I think a lot of people know Blackheart more from the Marvel vs. Capcom video games than the comics, but he actually first appeared in Daredevil. And I will tell you, I have those issues. I was not a fan of the art in that storyline, especially with the way they drew Mephisto in that storyline. So if we ever do get a Marvel Legend Mephisto, which, you know, obviously that was, we saw them do a Mephisto for the HasLab that didn't make it. So, but I hope they don't ever do a Mephisto based on the artwork from the storyline, the Daredevil storyline where Blackheart first appeared, because I did not like that artwork in that title. I forget who the artist was, but I was not a fan of how they portrayed Mephisto in that series. He had like the dreads, and his face was much more demonic looking in the Daredevil story. I prefer a more classic looking Mephisto, which I think is what the HasLab had portrayed him as. So if they end up re-releasing the HasLab version, then I'd be pretty happy. So this wave goes up for pre-order this week on the 20th. So what was that, Thursday? 1 p.m. Eastern time. And then here's a look at the packaging. Oh, and then they tease this gun, which looks like it's going to be for a Kang figure, some type of Kang figure. That's the gun that Kang uses. I'm sure you've probably seen images floating around. In fact, let me just do a quick Google search. Of course, we've already gotten a pretty good Kang figure in the Marvel Legend line. So, so this appears to be the gun that Kang uses, or this appears to be the gun that they were teasing in the HasLab. So, and I think maybe some other people have used this gun as well. So maybe it's not Kang, but Kang seems to be the going theory for this week's Marvel Legend tease. Coco says, please stop giving us legends of characters from the Marvel Now period and forward. Well, I mean, you know, there are people who, probably, that's their favorite versions, I'm guessing. I mean, just because I always, when they do a version of a character that I'm not fond of, and most modern versions I'm not because I don't really read comics anymore. So, but I realize that not everybody thinks the same way I do. So, when they do modern versions, I'll often pass on them, but I assume there are people out there who do like them. Shrunk Life Media. I'll grab Moon Knight since I didn't get the Walgreens one or the others. The rest of the figures may be custom fodder if I need it. Yeah, Moon Knight I'll pick up for my West Coast Avenger team. The others though, I got to be honest, I want Blackheart, so it's gonna be one of those cases where you end up having to buy figures that you don't really want in order to get a build a figure that you do want. So I mean, Brother Voodoo, if I didn't already have a Brother Voodoo, and I know this one is probably better, this new one is better, but he's just Brother Voodoo's not a character that I like so much that I really feel like I need another one. Um, let's see who else in this wave. Damien Hellstorm, I'll probably get. I wouldn't mind getting that one. The Dracula one, I mean, I would, for me personally, I'd rather have a more classic, traditional Dracula. Though I do wonder if that there are issues with doing like a classic Dracula, like Universal Monster, if that's too close to like the Universal Monster stuff. So if that ends up getting them in some hot water with red tape copyright stuff, so I don't know. But if I had a choice, I'd rather have classic Dracula. I was like thinking that the build a figure was going to be Werewolf by Night because it was like we just got that MCU Man Thing figure from the Werewolf by Night series. And even though this would obviously have been a comic version of Werewolf by Night, I was like thinking this would be a great opportunity and a great time since you just announced this Man Thing figure to give us a Werewolf by Night figure. But alas, not. And again, I wonder if like some of these classic horror characters, if there aren't some copyright issues that prevent them from doing figures of that. I know Toy Biz did a box set with a bunch of those guys back in the day, but especially since there are so many companies nowadays doing like Universal Monster type figures, NECA and Jada Toys and a few others, I just wonder if there isn't more red tape, licensing red tape with those characters. Didn't they say they would never do a Damien Hellstorm because it was in a HasLab? I don't think they used the word never, but also since that HasLab did not get funded, yeah, I mean it does set a bad. I will tell you, I don't think they ever actually use those words, but I will tell you that it does set a little bit of a bad precedent for them with future HasLabs because now they're demonstrating that well, if the HasLab doesn't get approved, we may still do these figures later on, and so you know if the driving force for you to back a HasLab is like one of these figures, you might be prone to say, "Yeah, I'm not going to get the HasLab because I know you're going to do the figure later on." So I don't think they ever use those words. If the HasLab had gotten approved, then we wouldn't be seeing the Damien Hellstorm figure now. But that I definitely feel would be the truth. But since it didn't get approved, since they didn't move forward with the figure, I think that's now why you're seeing them stick it in this wave. But again, that now sets a precedent that says if the HasLab doesn't get approved, then we may offer like the figures, not the HasLab itself, but the figures. We may end up offering um, in the main line or some other way. Storm Rising. We don't need Bloodstorm though. It looked like a lot of reuse parts. Plus, I still have the punk. To be fair, I'm sure that's why they did it. it was an easy figure for them to do, reusing parts to keep their costs down. So I agree with you. Bloodstorm is not a figure I have any interest whatsoever in wanting to get for myself. Not to say that there aren't some people out there who might not like that figure, but for me, I definitely think she was probably chosen as a cost saving measure for them. So, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Um, but yeah, likely so. And again, not a figure I have any interest in. Same with the Wolverine figure. I mean, again, that's probably reusing mostly existing parts, which is a cost saving measure. But X Men are always popular; they always seem to sell well. So Wolverine, especially. So it makes sense for them to do that from time to time. Brother Voodoo. I mean, Brother Voodoo to me is like, I don't know. It wasn't even all that. It doesn't seem like it was all that long ago that we got a Brother Voodoo. What, 4 years ago, maybe 5 at most. And then we had him in the San Diego Comic Con exclusive set too. So I don't know. I just maybe he's more popular of a character than I give him credit for. But gotta say, Phoenix was looking good, but just kind of wanted it for the fire effects for the Mafex Phoenix. Coco says getting Odin and Blackheart. Well, so if you're getting Blackheart, that means you're getting the whole wave, right? Or are you going to try and buy Blackheart on the secondary market or something? You could use the Wolverine head for a Robbie Reyes figure. You know what? As I was looking at the pictures right now, that thought had kind of crossed my mind. I was like, that looks a lot like the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider head. So, like, you could maybe take the Johnny Blaze. I don't know. I want to say probably the Johnny Blaze body is closer to Reyes than the Danny Ketch one, but you might be able to stick that on one of those bodies and essentially get your own Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider. And then you could go buy the Ramen Toys car thing that basically is the Ghost Rider car, and then you'd have your car and your Ghost Rider. Judge Dredd's never really liked the Kang character. I like Kang; he's always been an interesting character, but I can't believe they're just going to do a straight up Kang. So either we're talking about some type of box set, like the Cabal box set, so something along those lines, or it's going to be some type of set, maybe with like his chair, or you know. But there's going to be something. It's not going to just be a straight up Kang, if that's in fact what they were teasing. Um, so we'll have to see what that one is. As far as the Phoenix goes, I mean, the other thing about the Phoenix is that's probably going to be a deluxe figure. So I like the base, but do I want to pay deluxe price for yet another Phoenix figure? I don't know. I mean, if you're a big Phoenix fan, then you probably will. But AJ, what do you think the deal with the medieval Kickstarter at this stage? It's been put off for so long. San Diego. You ask me about that every time. I don't think it's ever going to happen. He's talking about the McFarlane toy medieval Kickstarter. I don't know why, but I honestly don't think it's like his Spawn movie. It's like I honestly think if he ever gets the Spawn movie out, then we'll get the medieval Spawn Kickstarter. But if we don't get the Spawn movie, then we're not going to get the Spawn Kickstarter. So it's like they're somehow connected with one another. So, and I don't think the movie is ever going to happen. So I don't think the Kickstarter is going to happen. That's just my own thoughts. But I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know why they teased it last year at San Diego after so long originally announcing it, and then once again doing absolutely nothing with it. So I'm amazed that when people interview Todd McFarlane that nobody ever asks him about that. But as far as I know it, they haven't. Michael, I don't know. What's holding them back from revealing the Marvel Legend Deadpool and Wolverine figures? I have absolutely no idea what's up with that. Now, again, keep in mind, we know there's a Deadpool wave coming based on listings and stuff. Ryan Ting has even indicated that they are doing figures for some figures at least for that movie, because I want to say maybe it was WonderCon that he was saying during that panel that like because he was like, I bet you all want to see the Deadpool and Wolverine figures, and like was like, but I haven't even seen them myself, so I don't know. I knew it wasn't going to be during the fan stream because they've said more than one time that they don't reveal entertainment figures during those their fan streams. So I knew that wasn't going to be happening unless somebody revealed it before the stream. But by the time they announced the stream, it seemed pretty clear that there wasn't going to be enough time to do that. And I will tell you something that caught my eye today. Um, Marvel Marvel Comics, or Marvel the company, I should say, announced that they're going to be doing this weekly podcast thing starting, I think, next Thursday, and then like every Thursday, and they're going to have like special guests. Feige's going to be on there one week and things like that. But I would not be surprised if they don't reveal those figures initially through something like that, like this new podcast that they're about to launch. So maybe that's what they've been waiting on. So let me, because I got an email from Marvel about it today. Now I got to find it. Yeah, so June 26th is when they're launching this podcast. So there's nothing in they sent a press release about it, but there's nothing in the press list that would suggest that they would reveal it. But I'm just knowing how they like to reveal things like that through Marvel. My first thought when I read this press release is, well, maybe that's when they're going to reveal the Deadpool figure. So, I mean, Dan Young will start teasing it when they get close, and I do think it will happen before San Diego Comic-Con, because I don't think they're going to wait until the weekend of the movie, when the movie opens up, to show the figures. Though it does make me think that the figures are not going to be out before the movie's release. So I also feel like the figures are going to be released after the movie, not before the movie. So I guess it's possible they could wait until San Diego if that's the case, but we'll have to wait and see. Um, but I don't, I don't know what the holdup is. When are they going to announce the HasLab, Nico? So I assume you're talking about the Marvel Legend HasLab. So we know the Star Wars HasLab is going on right now, which, since you bring that up, let's just check on the status of that. Last time I checked, it still hadn't reached 5,000 backers. It is over 5,000 backers. So for those of you interested in that vintage collection HasLab, it is now over 5,000, just over 5,000, 5,019. Needs a minimum of 8,000 and has just over 21 days to go. So it has been moving very slow, but I still think there's probably a pretty good chance it will at least reach its 8,000 minimum goal before all is said and done. This HasLab, the Star Wars one, it has a much shorter window than most, basically just 1 month. So we'll have to see if that has any effect. But to answer the question about the Marvel Legends, we know the next HasLab after Star Wars is going to be G.I. Joe, because they told us in the G.I. Joe fan stream that the announcement for the G.I. Joe HasLab would be coming during San Diego Comic-Con. So or right before it, but they would be basically one of the big news is out of San Diego would be the G.I. Joe Classified HasLab, which I still think is going to be a Cobra Rattler. So we know that's the next HasLab coming after the Star Wars one finishes up. So that means, and then we have a pretty good idea that the Ghostbuster one is going to be at the very end of the year. So that means the Marvel Legend one will be between G.I. Joe and Ghostbusters. Now, generally, in recent years past, the HasLab runs during New York Comic Con time, because they're always taking the HasLab to New York Comic Con to display it there, and that's in October. So I'm thinking GI Joe is in July and is probably going to run through most of August, and so then Marvel will probably launch. I'm thinking mid to end of September and go through most of October. Um, Let me double check what the dates of New York Comic Con are. So New York Comic Con is October 17th through the 20th. So I suspect, again, Marvel's HasLab will launch end of July through October, so that they can take it to New York Comic Con and display it there. So that's my speculation, but again, that's kind of how they've done it in past years. Definitely, from what they've told us, they haven't told us when the Marvel Legend one is, but definitely from what they have told us, we know it's going to be G.I. Joe next, then Marvel, and then Ghostbusters. Does Marvel Legend HasLab ever get an early reveal? What do you mean early? Like before it actually launches? No. Um, Amazingly, sometimes things will leak out somehow, like we saw with the Cantina, but I don't recall. I mean, if it did leak out beforehand, it was like only a short time before they announced it. But like, if you're asking, like, would they show us what it is at San Diego Comic Con? Even though they are not probably going to launch the HasLab for the Marvel Legends until like September? And the answer would be no, because again, what they're going to be focusing on as far as HasLabs at San Diego will be GI Joe. That'll be the big HasLab announcement during San Diego Comic Con. MK Solid says, I have to say the paint on the new Night Stalker for Masters of the Universe Origins he's talking about is better than the original. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It's $33, and being the the previous horse didn't seem to sell super great. I mean, I have a feeling Mattel's going to be releasing it in fairly limited numbers, but yeah, it looks good. Hasbro never said they'd never release characters from a failed HasLab. They said we wouldn't get the version of them offered in the HasLab. This Damien is offered on a different buck. Ebony Leopard, yes, and that is basically like loopholes that they find. Just like we got the Goblin Queen from the X-Men '97 series, even though, of course, the HasLab version looked much more true to the comics, was much more uh, seductive looking, I guess is the best way to describe it. But yes, we did end up getting a Goblin Queen. And I wouldn't be surprised if some point we don't get another Goblin Queen technically based on the comics and not the cartoon, though I still don't think it'll look as good as the HasLab one. Everett, what's up, Everett? What about classic Loki? So, um, I mean, we just recently have had Loki, but I'm sure at some point, as popular as Loki is, especially with the MCU, I'm sure we will end up getting another Loki figure at some point. Ben from the bunker. Do I think we'll ever get Robbie Reyes? Yes, I do think we will eventually get a Robbie Reyes figure. Will we get his car? Probably not. I mean, I feel like Hasbro could do the car cheaper, get rid of all the electronics, just kind of do like McFarlane does with his vehicles, just kind of do like a hollow shell essentially that you can sit figures inside. So it looks good enough on the outside, but is less expensive. But I don't know if they would do that or not. But I do think, as far as the figure himself goes, we will eventually get a Robbie Reyes figure. I'm not sure what would be the point of Robbie Reyes without his car, but there you go. Like I said, there's always the ramen toy version you can always go out and get. Judge Dredd says, "Don't think they're going to reveal MCU figs before the movie is out." Well, the absolute latest would be San Diego Comic Con. If they haven't revealed them by San Diego, then that's when they're going to reveal them. But that is also, again, the same weekend as the movie. But I guess if the figures, for whatever reason, aren't going to be released before the movie, which is what they generally want to do with movie based figures, then it might make more sense that they would hold them until San Diego Comic Con time. I guess it really depends on when those figures are supposed to be released, and I haven't seen any info pop out for that. So that's really probably what it depends on. But and since it is a rated R movie, I mean the thought process behind movie figures is they want them out on shelves before the movie to advertise the movie to parents and kids primarily. But with the rated R movie, it's not so much the case. So there probably was not pressure to have them out before the movie, especially with all the changing movie dates and stuff, which ends up screwing all the release schedules and all that crap. So it may be in this case, since it's an R-rated movie, the studio was fine with Hasbro releasing them after the movie. And honestly, that to me is not a bad thing, because a lot of times with movie figures, when they're released before the movie, Hasbro is basing those initial figures on like art that ends up changing before the actual movie gets released. And so we get inaccurate looking figures, which then Hasbro has to go back later and give us accurate versions. So, I'd rather they give us accurate movie figures, even if we have to wait until after the movie, than getting inaccurate movie figures and then having to buy them again when they do them correctly. David, we have gotten Ghost Rider without a bike before. That is true. And again, I wouldn't put it past Hasbro with doing Robbie Reyes without his car. I just feel like you got to give him his car if you're going to give us the figure. I don't know. I'm not a huge Robbie Reyes fan, so I'm not like dying to add Robbie Reyes to my collection. I was not going to back the. Somebody was not going to back the HasLab just because I didn't think it was worth it, even with the extra figures that I wanted, like Mephisto. Um, I mean, I didn't have a problem with anyone who did back it, but and it wasn't like I wasn't one of these people. It was like Hasbro was ripping us off type thing. It was just for me personally. I'm not a big enough Robbie Reyes fan, so it wasn't worth me spending it. Plus, space and all that jazz. So, but I again, I mean, it's just my feeling. I'm not based on any info, but I do think we'll at least get Robbie Reyes. The car, I would say, is less likely. Ben from the bunker says he has the Ramen Racer version, and it's pretty cool. Judge says if people wanted that, there was the HasLab that failed. I doubt they will ever make him for the car. I do think they will make the figure. I think they will make the figure, just not the car. All right, let me just do a quick scan. I think we've covered everything on the Marvel Legend front. But before I let you guys go, let me just glance over other news for us to cover. So Mondo is, for you X-Men fans, keeping it on Marvel. They're doing a 1/6 scale Jim Lee, X-Men 97 Cyclops figure for their 12-inch line. So this is going to be going up on Tuesday. So tomorrow, on the Mondo shop, there will be eventually a version released at other places, but uh, going up on the Mondo store tomorrow at noon Central Time. So if you've been collecting these 12-inch X-Men figures, this is one that you might want to check out. You get different versions of the visor with blast effects. You get multiple pairs of hands. You get a cup of coffee. I guess that's supposed to be the coffee that he gives Magneto, or Magneto's asking him if he poisoned it. But but yeah, it looks pretty good if you're into 12-inch figures. So again, pre-order on the Mondo store for that tomorrow. And I don't think there's really. I think we've covered everything else. Talked about the McFarlane stuff last week, so I don't feel a need to go over that again. Talked about recent Star Wars stuff. Talked about the cantina already, so yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today. One thing I do want to update you guys on this week's schedule. So I've been doing these live stream news videos on Mondays and Wednesdays, which is the normal day for these videos. However, this week there's going to be a minor change. So instead of my next video being on Wednesday, I'm going to do it on Thursday for two reasons. One is this weekend I'm going to Joe Fest. So I'm not going to have a video up on Friday, a normal video up on Friday like normal, but I will probably stream some videos or post some videos from Joe Fest on Saturday. So no video on Friday, but probably something from Joe Fest on Saturday. But I'm going to push Wednesday's video to Thursday, partly because of that. And then also Wednesday is my anniversary with my wife, our 25th anniversary, wedding anniversary. So, and it's a federal holiday, Wednesday. This Wednesday is a federal holiday, so she has off work. So we're going to take the day and just do stuff together. So I'm not going to be around much on Wednesday, but I will be back on Thursday this week, 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Hopefully I won't be late like today, with another live stream news video. And then again, no regular video this week on Friday, but I will have some stuff up likely on Saturday from Joe Fest. And, probably go, if there's other major news between Thursday and Saturday, I'll probably cram it into that. So that, and then next week we'll go back to the normal schedule of Monday and Wednesday for the live stream videos at 3, and then Friday will be the pre-recorded video, just kind of going over everything. So just want to give you that update. Once again, want to give a shout out to my 2 channel members, Mark Sowerby and Amy V, which I never actually see comment here on the live streams, but they have supported the channel by becoming a channel member, which you can too if you want to. You don't have to. Not a biggie if you don't, but if you do, there is a link in the video description for doing that. The support, and it is mostly just to show support for the channel. I don't throw in lots of extra bonuses for being a channel member, at least not right now. If I actually ended up building a large number of channel members, then that could change. But right now it's mostly just if you want to support the channel. But if you don't, just you watching the channel, that's plenty of support for me, obviously. But it is there if that's something you want to think about. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, Wall of Skulls, I guess, Dwight teased that last week for the live stream. So I guess that was for I'm thinking the Blackheart figure was the Wall of Skulls tease that Dwight gave us last week. Dave says, displaying model behaviors doing news videos now. People are trying to take your throne. Oh, dude, there are so many people out there that do news videos. It's not even funny. I mean, YouTube is so oversaturated with toy tubers, and I mean, that's fine. It is what it is. But yeah, I could count at least 10 people that do news videos these days. So, and they might be more entertaining than I am. I don't really know. So yeah, not a biggie. YouTube, I don't make my living on YouTube, thankfully. So this is more just me as a way to kind of communicate with you guys more than anything. But this channel does not, like, I don't get hundreds of thousands of views on this channel. I get a couple thousand views on these live streams, 5,000-6,000 views on a regular video, and it's good enough for me, but it's certainly not in the world of YouTube. It's not like, we can't all be like Robo, who gets like 20,000 views on every video he puts up, but and gets shout outs by Hasbro during the live streams and all that jazz. So But I do appreciate all of you guys who, tune in every week to watch these videos. It's much appreciated. I appreciate everyone who comes back and watches them on rerun or whatever. So, like I say, you guys are great. If you're going to Joe Fest this weekend, then maybe I'll run into you. It's my first convention in a very long time. I was going to try and go to like PowerCon last year, but then things happened with my dad. So I wasn't able, and I haven't really been to any conventions since before COVID. So this will be my first convention. I did go to the Maryland Toy Expo last year, but that's a much smaller local thing. So, and I've never been to Joe Fest, so I used to go to the old official GI Joe conventions where Hasbro would come and show off products and stuff, but I've not been to any of the more recent GI Joe conventions that are out there. So this is my first. We'll see how it goes. And then I'm still debating whether I actually want to go to San Diego myself. We'll of course have coverage up this year, but I am debating whether I'm going to try and go to San Diego myself. I've actually booked a room, as expensive as it is, but I can cancel the room at any point. And I have my badge, so it's really just whether I decide I want to spend all the money and all that jazz to travel out there myself. But I am strongly debating or considering going to San Diego, which again, I haven't been to since before COVID. When COVID hit, San Diego was canceled for 2 years. And then I guess the first one after COVID was 2022, which I didn't go. And then last year I was debating on going again, but then again, things with my dad happened and I wasn't able to go. So, but anyway, again, always much appreciated your support. As always, guys, stay safe out there. Again, remember, I will catch you again on here on YouTube on Thursday at 3 p.m. with another live stream news video. And then whatever I end up getting up from Joe Fest this weekend. So as always, guys, stay safe out there. And until next time, I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching today's video. Now, if you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. For all the latest action figure news, be sure to head over to ToyNewsEye.com, MarvelousNews.com, JediInsider.com, and TFormers.com. And remember, action figures are great,